The 2-1. Lindor towards right center field. This one is back. It is gone! Grand slam! And Lindor puts the Mets on top. The biggest swing of the season for New York. High run at the plate. The 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss!
Every time I watch it, it just keeps getting better and better and better, all right? It's the two biggest moments in the history of Citi Field, the Lindor Grand Slam and Edwin Diaz, who was walking the ballpark, going 101 on Kyle Schwarber to send the Mets to the NLCS. Good morning, everybody. I'm Brian Germanero alongside my co-host, Nate. Nate, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. How you seem very happy.
I don't think so. I'm doing well.
Dude, I don't know what I really don't know what to say. Honestly, that this series between the Phillies and the Mets.
The Phillies were mediocre since the London series. They've gone 50-48 in the past 198 games.
Yeah.
But this is not the same Phillies team from beginning of the season, hyped up.
No, sir. Like, literally, this was not the best team in the National League whatsoever. That it's crazy how a series can change like a whole season's complexion. To go from the best team in the National League to just being average the rest of the way. It's literally unacceptable. There's no excuses for this team. Like, everything that could go wrong did go wrong. We knew this Phillies team, off the one weakness they had, and we've seen that the past couple of seasons, right? When they made the playoffs, is the offense just not showing up. But this year felt worse because they couldn't show up at all. Like, the reason we won game 2, we won game 2 was because
you were lucky game 2.
It was a walk-off.
It should have been a sweep, and you got lucky in game 2.
Yeah, like to go from like a 6-4 lead in game 2, and then you guys tied it up 6-6.
Viento's tied it at 6. Yeah.
So it's literally, I don't know. I just, the disappointment is very high because this team just didn't show up at all. But let's not be all negative today because your team did win. So let's just. I am happy for you. I am. It's just because the reason why I'm happy and I'm not that upset is because we didn't lose this series. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but we didn't lose this series because of you guys. We kind of lost it because of ourselves. Like, we just couldn't get it going, even when we did have some sort of momentum because we had a 1-0 lead at one point in game 4. Our bullpen
1-0 lead game 4, 1-0 lead in game 1 with Zach Wheeler, pitching maybe one of the best postseason performances I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. Shout
Shout out Suarez last night. That curveball was absolutely disgusting. Like, you had moments, but it's just what the Mets are. They have the juju. They have the momentum. I don't know if it's Grimace, if it's the Haktua girl. Is it, the OMG song? Is it the Rally Pumpkin? Whatever it is, there is just something special about this New York Mets team. They don't say die. And the Phillies just kind of let it happen.
Yeah, they did. But shout out to your pitching, though. Seriously, all around.
When Lindor hit that home run, did you know it was over?
Yeah.
That feeling. I'm like, I've seen so much pain before, and I'm like, I'm not celebrating. Like, I'm celebrating the home run.
Yeah.
In my head, I'm like, Philly just got punched in the face. They're on the mat. They're not getting back up.
Yeah, like when the bases are loaded, and Lindor came into play, we bring in Estevez. I'm just like, because I mean, look, Hoffman was great all year, and then comes into the postseason and just has like a 20+ ERA, which I'm pretty sure got higher after that Lindor home run.
Bullpen for the Phillies, though. Like, every time the Phillies took out their starting pitcher, I'm like, all right, we're about to win this game because this bullpen cannot handle us.
Yeah, and that was our biggest strength this year. Apparently, we have one of the best bullpens in MLB. You have Estevez, you have
Not
Hoffman.
this series.
Yeah, not this series at all. Like they look like the freaking, I don't know,
The
the White
bullpen from 2
Sox.
years ago or last year when they were just constantly blowing leads.
Yeah, like, it's just when the moment's shine the brightest, they just didn't show up, and that's why I can't be mad at the Mets, because they, when a team has a bad bullpen and a bad offense, you take advantage, and that's what the Mets did. They're a team that came prepared, and they came here ready to win, whereas this Phillies team just walked in, after a bye week of sorts. Oh, we'll handle the Mets because we were the best team, one of the best teams in the National League. Well, you weren't. So yeah, just a lot of just from this offense, definitely. Well, I'll dive into
Who is the biggest guy? Like, what's your biggest blame? Is it the bullpen? Like, is there one thing you? Like, it would be like if before GOAT got turned into greatest of all time. It used to be you don't want to be the GOAT because that's like who everyone's blaming. Who are you blaming right now for this loss?
definitely the offense as a whole. Like I understand how bad the bullpen was, but at the same time, your offense, when you have a lineup like a Schwarber, a Turner, a Harper, a Castellanos, Bohm, and guys like that, you're supposed to score runs, and this team couldn't score runs at all. Look, losing 4-1 or being down 4-1 in a game, it's not that bad of a deficit. Like when you have an offense built like that, right? You're supposed to score runs to come back. As bad as the bullpen may be, they just couldn't do it. Turner looked terrible. Schwarber, outside of that game one home run, what else has he done? Pretty much
He
nothing.
batted. I think he struck out to end the game. That's what he did. I think he batted 125 throughout the entire series outside that home run.
Yeah, so he was just terrible. I really. And then I don't know why we decided to roll out different guys on offense in the lineup. Like instead of Stott at one point, we brought in Edmundo Sosa, Austin.
I think it's just
Hayes.
Thompson trying to find something, just trying to get some life into the team.
But no matter what he tried, it was just absolutely nothing. But I do want to ask about the Mets because you guys are moving on, and that's what matters because no one cares about the losing team anyways. First off, props to your pitching staff. Outside of Senga, who, let's be honest, deserves some slack because he barely came back and he pitched 2 innings.
He did fine his two innings. He was like it wasn't the best, but for a guy that was coming off, not only pitching 5 innings all year, could have been much worse.
Yeah, definitely.
The environment built off everything. Schwarber greets him very rudely in that first. That could have gone off the rails entirely, and he just settled in and got the job done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he was for 2 innings was okay. Manaea was great. Quintana was great. Severino, not in that order because I know Severino was game 2. Manaea was game 3, and then Quintana was game 4.
The pitching performance, and we're going to be telling Met fans talk about that pitching performance for generations to come. That might be the performance of the postseason so far. What Manaea was able to do in game 3, because I think that killed all Phillies momentum. That was all right, we just dominated you, making Bryce Harper look silly on striking him out on 3 pitches. That's going to be something that's played forever and ever and ever by Met fans.
Yeah, just literally, your pitching staff was phenomenal. Bullpen got the job done outside of game 2, and like I said, game 2 was lucky. We can both agree with that for sure for the Phillies. But other than that, bullpen was great by you guys. So now, you guys are in. You guys advance. You guys are waiting for the Padres or the Dodgers to face in the NLCS. They will be playing Game 5.
I love a guy. Give me the Dodgers.
Really?
I do not want to face San Diego at all. They have something weird going on with them too. They're feisty, and this San Diego Padres team beat us 2 years ago in the wild card round. It's the exact same core of guys. I don't want to face that again. Give me the Dodgers. I know I can beat the Dodgers. What happened? What happened? I'll tell you what happened. They ran into the buzzsaw known as the New York Mets and Grimace. Imagine if Grimace was in the champagne locker room after the game. Imagine he was celebrating with the Mets with the champagne afterwards. Oh, what an all-time image that would be. I'm starting to realize I'm going to explain to my kids one day what a grimace is. They're not going to understand. He's this big purple mascot from McDonald's that threw out the first pitch.
Yuki says he wants the Padres.
I would love Revenge of the Pirates. Don't get me wrong, but like I've just seen this movie so many times where it's just like playing that team. I don't want reminders of past failures. The last time we played the Dodgers in the postseason, we beat them in 5 games in 2015. I want to have that in my head, not 2022 season, where it's pretty much the same team. Other outside the Mets don't have DeGrom and Scherzer and Basta anymore.
So, yeah, I mean, to wrap things up for the Phillies real quick, 95-game season. They won the NL East for the first time in a while. They won 6 more games than the Mets in the regular season. I'm sorry?
I want to say 13 years it's been since the Phillies last won the East.
Yeah, long time.
I think 2011 was the last time.
I believe so. It was a while, regardless. This is the 3rd time they made the postseason in a row. 2022 lost the World Series, 2023 lost the NLCS, and then this year lost the NLDS. So we're just instead of getting better,
they're going to make the wild card next year and lose the wild card round because that's what it's doing.
It's a trend, which is not looking good. Definitely a lot of changes needs to be made. Bullpen was terrible. To throw 12 and 2/3 innings, 20 hits, 17 runs allowed. Definitely something that needs to be worked on. Carlos Estevez and Jeff Hoffman scheduled to be free agents. Both guys struggled during the postseason. Hitting outside of Harper and Castellanos, like we just mentioned, that was non-existent. So improvements definitely need to be made. Even after the fact that you won the division, it was bad. So and
you win the division, but you're not playoff built. You're built for regular season, not the postseason.
Yeah, and what matters the most, the postseason. Mm-hmm. So streaky players, we need consistency on this team for sure. We can't have streak guys that are streaky and then just go cold on this offense. Obviously, I'm not saying let go of Schwarber and Turner and guys like that, but Alec Boehm is someone that could be traded because of how streaky, as much as it hurts to say.
And he was a butcher at third base all postseason. Like every time the ball was hit to him, I'm like, we're fine. He's not going to make this play. Like I could probably point to 3 or 4 examples of him just completely botching the play at third.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he was a bit of a struggle. Bryson Stott was in and out of the lineup because for some reason Thompson didn't trust him. And left field and center field, those are 2 positions that need to be addressed because even though Brandon Marsh and Johan Rojas have been, kind of the mainstays at those positions respectively, there just hasn't been consistency on offense to say, okay, it's worth bringing those guys out there, even though they're more defensively better than offense. So we'll see. Just like I said, we lost this series. No excuses. A lot of disappointment in this team. And hopefully we'll see what happens next year. But next year is next year. That's a long time from now. And
it is a long time from now. But what's still going on right now is the New York Mets postseason run. Because this is, for a lot of younger Mets fans, I think the greatest moment of their Mets life. Like, sure, we won the pennant in 2015. I remember that team very well. But that season was different. The Mets didn't really get good until August. Right? Like, beginning of the season, helped out because the Nationals were bad that year and their pitching was just good enough to limp them towards the deadline, and then Cespedes came in, and obviously that was all crazy watching Cespedes go off and going to the World Series. Actually going to a World Series game was incredible. That was 2015 is different, but clinch in your own ballpark, which is something like the only time in the past since 2000 the Mets have clinched times at home. They clinched the 2000 pennant at Chase Stadium. They clinched the NL East in 2006 at Chase Stadium. And then this is the first time in Citi Field history that they can do a champagne celebration in the locker room. They've never done it before. This is the first time they've won a playoff series in their home ballpark. We got to celebrate with the team finally. We were with the crowd. It was going all night. I know if it's confirmed or not, but I have seen rumors that the Lindor home run did set off the Richter scale at the ballpark. I have not been able to confirm it. I've been trying to all morning, but I've seen some people say hey, there was a Rick DeGale spike where that home run happened. Like, I can't find it anywhere. I've seen a few places, but I've heard fans that were in the building that said if it wasn't an earthquake, it was pretty close because that building shook at that home run. And for a lot of Mets fans, like, that doesn't happen in the past. Like, I think a lot of Mets fans brought this up that they felt this similar when Lindor was coming up with the bases loaded. There was a similar feeling to Carlos Beltran coming up in Game 7 of the 6 NLCS. I've compared Francisco Lindor to Carlos Beltran a lot. If you look at the beginning of the Mets' tenures, very, very similar. Kind of rough start to start off, but got really hot. Became kind of like the big bat in the lineup, but also had like this portion of the fan base that couldn't trust him because of how slow he started. And then Beltran came up in a similar spot, and in 06, he struck out and ended the series. Lindor hit that home run and gave us a clutch moment, gave us the moment of ecstasy and celebration. He cemented himself as a Mets legend. Like I said, as soon as he rounded the bases, throw the captaincy on him right now. That is our guy. That's the face of the franchise. That's the MVP of the National League. I don't care what Ohtani's on anymore. Lindor has had big moment after big moment, and it's just a lot of the Mets, kind of demons are being slayed in this one. Like, we beat the Braves. We clinched the Braves in stunning fashion to make up for the 90s. We beat the Phillies to make up for the 07 and 08 collapse. Like, this is just stuff that doesn't happen with the Mets, and the team is just getting hot at the right time. Like fans are panicking. Like, the Mets are down 1-0. Like, I was a little worried because we left a small country on the base paths, and like that's stuff you have to capitalize on when you have back-to-back games, bases loaded. You have to drive in those runs. And I saw a scenario where it's like, we're not going to drive in the runs. We're going to lose this game 1-0. Going back to Philly, we're screwed. But I was not worried. I'm like, this team can still come back. I'm not out on this team until final because this team is giving you no reason. This team, all they do is fight. They're never out of it. Their heads are always in it. They always want. They're always competing. And to just see the home run and to see them clinch with Brandon Nimmo and Francisco Lindor literally crying, like having the same emotion we do. It's a moment and a night that I think for generations, fans are going to look for this as the moment they love. This is the moment. This feels like a turning point for the Mets, this moment.
And that's the thing because, obviously you're my guy and I respect you a lot. And I'm actually really happy for you. As a matter of fact, honestly, you guys played extremely well the whole series. And it's like Lindor was great. Not that I'm a fan of him, but I have to respect him a lot. Mark Vientos was outstanding. Not just
it's becoming a star. He is like Lindor gets all the shine and stuff, and Nimmo and Pete. We don't win that series on Mark Vientos.
Oh yeah,
dude's batting 400 in the postseason so far. He's our hero so far. He is establishing himself, the future of this franchise. Going to be the third baseman in the future. He's a star.
He was great. Manaea, after what happened with his aunt before Game 3, pitched outstanding, and then Edwin Diaz came in, did his job as he was supposed to.
He did, but he made us sweat. Like, he reminded all Mets why we don't trust our closer, because when he came in and could not find the strike zone, and every Met fan is probably the exact same. I'm like, all right, Harper's coming up in 1-2 batters, so get him now. Do not let Harper come up to the plate. Like, I know Schwarber was like scary, but like he was 0 for 9 with 7 strikeouts against Diaz. So like there was a little bit of like, all right, like we can get to Schwarber. Different story. I do not want Harper anywhere near the plate in that spot.
No, sir. And then also shout out to Francisco
Alvarez. Yeah, kudos to Alvy. Alvy, I mean, he makes a great point there. I started worrying about Alvy. I want to say in August, he was allowing a lot of pass balls because the way he plays catcher, he's trying to frame the ball 24/7, and it allows him to like misjudge balls and let balls go past him. So like I like him a lot, but I'm scared that he's going to turn into Gary Sanchez, where his gaffes in the field overshadow what he can do at the plate. But no, he's right. Alvarez was a blocking machine all night and saved the Mets. Like those, they said on the broadcast, the 50-foot bouncers coming to the plate. Alvarez blocked those and prevented the Phillies from moving up 90 feet. That's huge. That's, a lot more pressure when there's a guy on third compared to a guy on second. Shout out to that first base umpire. I still do not know how that ball is foul, but the day I died, that ball was foul. I don't know how. It's the worst call I've ever seen, but thank God it's foul.
Yeah, I do want to make sure because I'm not making any excuses, I promise. But I will say that did take me off because when the ball bounces, so when it bounces, right, doesn't as long as it bounces first fair.
It probably, from what I've it's got to bounce, and if it bounces over the bag, it's a fair ball. Like even if it hits foul, I do not know how that ball was foul. I really don't. It's just another weird, quirky, magical moment that went the Mets' way. That doesn't happen to us. It doesn't. We're normally on the receiving end of it. Like now, it's like the old expression. It's not as much fun when the rabbit has the gun. Like this is something we're going to, just talk about. It's just another moment, and it's like words cannot describe just the joy that went into it last night. And also, really cool moment after the game. I got a call from my old radio station at Siena College I used to be on, and I got to jump on and do like a live talk that's going to air tonight. So that was really special. My first return to the Saint after graduating. So if you want like my, this happened 10 minutes after the game was over. Like my pure raw reaction, tune into the Saint tonight at like 6 o'clock and you'll hear it.
All right. Yeah. Well,
I'll tweet out a link so people can find it.
Definitely, that would definitely help for sure. Because I'll check it out and see what your reaction is. But yeah, again, congrats to you, brother. Seriously, you guys played extremely well, and no matter who you guys face, definitely going to be a challenge. Unless Citi Field is not a place you want to be in, no matter which team you are. So
it's already sold out. All 3 games are gone. I think it's when I said at noon yesterday.
Hypothetically,
right now.
If you guys did make the World Series, would you try to go to one?
So I've actually been to a World Series game before, and I would definitely try to go again.
Okay, man. I hope you guys make it. Then we'll see. It'll be nice to see.
I hope we make it too. But there is I don't want to get ahead of myself because I am really just living the magic right now.
Yeah.
But there is a thought in the back of my head. It's a doomsday scenario where that team for the Bronx also gets into the World Series against us.
Oh,
that's the Yankees in the World Series. I might die.
That's literally gonna be the talk of New York, dude. The 2 New York teams,
and it's just going to be just me just stressing every single pitch because I just know so many Yankee fans that my life is either going to be the greatest sports moment of my life if the Mets somehow did that, or be the absolute worst moment of my life because not only would the Mets lost the World Series again, but I would be crucified by Yankees fans for probably the rest of my life.
Hey, man. If the Yankees and the Mets make the World Series,
like a fan just said, I would love it for revenge of 2000, but I'm trying to get revenge on the Royals or somebody else. I do not want to face the Yankees. I do not need. I'm already going to be stressed out if the Mets are in the World Series. I don't need the added stress of you're playing the Yankees.
Well, like you said, just live in the moment, take it a day at a time. And as you guys wait for the Dodgers and Padres to, see what happens there, just enjoy it, live in the moment.
Oh, I'm enjoying it. I had a little fun, little celebration last night. It's Thursday, going out tonight, going to celebrate that, a little bit more. Yeah, no, this is going to be fun. I'm just enjoying it, and then I'm not worried. I'm not thinking about the NLCS until I know the opponent. I'm just going to live the ride right now.
Well, for now, we can, great win, but we can move on and focus until we find out your next opponent to the other New York team that we both are fans of and cover for Belly Up Sports and, of course, for the Third and 10 podcast, and that is the New York Football Giants. Before we even get into their next opponent, which is the Cincinnati Bengals, so breaking news came out a few days ago. Kayvon Thibodeau, weird, out of nowhere type of thing. Yeah, out of nowhere. For those of you who don't know, he did get wrist surgery, and he is considered week to week, so he's probably not going to play this week, but very out of the blue. One, I saw someone on Twitter kind of put it perfectly. It felt like a secret that just wasn't revealed until this week because he was fine on Sunday, and he just didn't. He looked healthy to me, and then all of a sudden we're hit with the week to week wrist surgery, and it's like, okay, well, what happened? So he's going to be a bit of a loss.
He's probably out the next 2 weeks at least.
So, okay. So Ed Valentine posted a report at 9:55 Eastern time. The timeline is about 4 to 6 weeks. So, fudge. He hasn't been placed on it yet, but he will likely be on injury reserve. He has a scalp hold fracture, so it's a type of broken wrist. For those of you like myself who don't know what a scalp hold fracture is,
scalp hole's in your shoulder.
That's what I was thinking. It's a small bone near the base of the thumb. It's one of our carpal bones, and it's always caused. I'm sorry.
Like right here.
Yeah. Sort of. Yeah, and it's usually caused when you try to catch yourself after a fall. When you stretch your arms out when you try to catch yourself. Yeah, that's what it was.
Okay, like you go like this, and the thumb just kind of does that.
Exactly. Okay, let's see. The Mets starting rotate. Ooh, yeah. So let's stop with the Giants real quick. What do you know? What the rotation? Because what's it called? Kitana just pitched game 4. So
I pitched game 4. Let's see. Sevy pitched Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
My guess it's probably going to be Severino, Naya, Quintana, Sanga, and Peterson as a long man.
So not Sanga game 1.
Think so, because Sanga's only like an opener at this point.
Because he's barely coming back.
Yeah, so I can see him in a game 4. He just kind of comes in and then get Peterson as a bulk man. As a bulk man, 1 of the 2, and just have. I mean, I don't want to take Dave Peterson out of that bullpen. I want him to stay out there and just be like the Madison Bumgarner and just come out and pitch 3 innings and just be fine.
Okay. Yeah, because he is barely. His first game was literally this past Saturday, for Senga. So
he pitched 8 pitches to close out Milwaukee.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but 8 pitches, nothing. It was a very not stressful 8 pitches. So he bounced back, pitched in relief for Senga, pitched in relief last night. He's been an unsung hero to this team.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that's what it looks like to be, and we'll see what officially is once the opponent is set and the NLCS is announced in terms of what the dates look like for game 1 and so on and so forth.
You mentioned that their most rested pitching staff out there. It's going to be, let's see, Wednesday, so Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's going to be 4 days already until the Mets play again. Pitching staff's going to be well rested, so they can just go ace and the best guys down.
Damn right.
The reason why Senga started game 1 is because guys like Severino weren't ready.
But now they're good now. They're ready to go. Just throw them out there and let them do their thing. So okay, yeah. So back to the scalp hold fracture. So when it comes to the most intense fractures, they do require surgery. So the surgeon kind of basically realigns that scalp hold to its correct position, kind of secures it in place. These include plates and screws or pins and wires. How long it takes to heal depends on the severity of the fracture. Most people need about 3 months to recover, but in this case, for Thibodeau, it is 4 to 6 weeks. So definitely a huge blow for sure. Your thoughts on this? And do you feel like the Giants should go out and possibly try to bring someone in free agency, or just try to roll what we have? Because it, as you know, and many of us know, the guy that's going to step up for him has dealt with a lot of injuries in this past. And
Yeah.
I'm talking about Azeez Ojulari, for those of you who don't know. So your thoughts on the Thibodeau injury, and if we will be able to survive without him?
Hmm. You know, it's definitely a blind side. Definitely not something I was expecting. Like, I remember just on my phone and just got the alert, like, Kayvon had wrist surgery. Like, what do you mean Kayvon had wrist surgery? Like, in the off season? Like, when? Like, wait, what do you mean? When did he go down? Like, it was just like a real confusing trying to figure everything out. To bring somebody in, like, it's probably smart to bring in like a depth piece, like, a league minimum vet type guy. But that's just for depth, just because Ojulari is so unpredictable. When Ojulari's on the field this year, he's been one of our most consistent pass rushers. Like, I feel like I hear his name every single week, like getting pressure and getting to the quarterback. So I'm gonna miss Kayvon, but I think this team can step up. Like, this team has 22 sacks, and it's not all coming from guys like Brian Burns and Kayvon Thibodeau. Those guys have kind of had slow starts. It's been like Dexter Lawrence and Chapman and DJ Davidson and Azeez Ojulari. So this pass rush is good enough to survive this injury. And it's gonna hurt not having like a threat like Kayvon Thibodeau that might allow, pressure to be taken off like DJ and Chapman. But I still think this team is good enough, and his pass rush has been fine enough that they can withstand this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, after we heard the news, after when he heard the news, I should say, Dexter Lawrence texted Azeez Ojulari and said, "quote It's your time." Spoke to the media. Said he spoke to the media. Lawrence did. Says he has a lot of confidence in Ojulari, and we think so too. It's just the fact that the injuries do scare us a lot when it comes to
It's the
Ojulari.
injuries.
Yeah.
That's the main thing preventing Ojulari from being a star in this league is just not being on the field. Like, when he's on the field, he produces. It's just he can't stay on it.
Mm-hmm. But so far, he's been healthy this year after playing just 18 games the past couple seasons. And this is a big test for him because he's going up against a Bengals team that, hey, look, offensively, they're good. But as long as you get to the quarterback, you should, Cincinnati's offensive line has never been known for being a very great group.
No.
And that's where the Giants can take advantage because to lead the league in 22 sacks, that says something about your team. And you mentioned Thibodeau only had maybe 1.5, 2 sacks at most this year so far. So yes, they had 22 sacks, but it's not because of him. It's because of guys like Dexter Lawrence and DJ Davidson, who had 2 sacks last week. Just different guys stepping up against the quarterback. That's what matters. And if the Giants can repeat that again against this Bengals team, and we'll dive to them right now in just a bit, I think definitely a lot of confidence because a win against Cincinnati in a first half schedule that contained a gauntlet of teams that we had to get through, that this just changes the whole season's complexion. You beat Cincinnati, you have a shot. So,
oh yeah, and this is not the Cincinnati of old.
Oh,
This
no.
is not the Cincinnati team that almost won a Super Bowl, or were a penalty away from going to Super Bowl last year against the Chiefs. Like, this is a Cincinnati team that's struggling, and I think we're catching them at the perfect time. I know I said the same thing about Dallas, but this is a Bengals team that's coming off a few games they should have won, and the defensive problems have been on full display. So if you want time to play the Bengals, now's the time to do it when they're still trying to figure everything out.
Mm-hmm. Bengals 1-4 so far to start the year, 359 yards of offense per game. They average 28 points a game, so that's 4th in the league. They throw for over 263, which is 5th best in the league. But the rushing game is a bit of concern, rushing just for 96 yards per game, 4th worst in the league. So offensively, it's clear. You stop the passing game, you're going to be just fine. Zach Moss and Chase Brown are not the scariest bunch, especially when they have to run up the middle. You're going to meet up with Dexter Lawrence and Davidson and Nunez Roches up the middle. So definitely a scary sight to see if they had to run the ball. So, I think in terms of for our defense, all we need to do is literally just stop Joe Burrow on his arm and
make Burrow uncomfortable. That's it.
If we do that, literally it's going to be just fine. Defensively for the Bengals, they're even worse. They allowed 365 yards per game, which is 6th worst in the league. Passing wise, they allowed 214, which is about average, but the rushing attack. I know we played Dallas a couple weeks ago, and they had one of the worst rushing defenses in the league. The same can be said for the Bengals, who allow 151 yards of rushing per game, and that's third worst in the league. And because they can't stop the run, I think, second most points allowed per game, with 29 points per game allowed by the Bengals. So, look, I know we beat Seattle. Jones, you play extremely well, but, buddy, this is your
Gotta
time.
do it again.
Gotta do it again on a national stage and against the Bengals team. I don't care what people say. Oh, this Bengals defense isn't great. I don't care. You then show us. Literally, just show us that, regardless if it's a good team or a bad team, this defense is really bad. You can score points on this team. I expect the Giants to hover, because I don't know about 30 points scored, because I just don't know. But I expect them to hover at least around the 21, 24 point mark, for sure.
I say 3 touchdowns.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Especially if a guy like Neighbors is playing, who's
100%.
been, they gave him 111 yards to Zay Flowers the other day.
So if that's the case, the Neighbors could do the exact same thing. That Darius Slayton has emerged as a solid wide receiver number 3. Wandale Robinson continues to do his thing as wide receiver number 2. Theo Johnson.
For now.
It's
Deion Johnson. It's Wandale. It's Neighbors. It's Slayton. Like, Jones have weapons to throw to. Like, they're not all household names yet because a lot of them are young. Like, Wandale and Theon are. And Slayton isn't the sexiest name because he doesn't play doesn't have the high right wheel catches, but he just puts together a really good stat line. The Giants' offense passing is really, really dangerous, and I think it's finally get the respect it deserves on Sunday night.
And Theo Johnson looked involved last week, so that's even more promising for this team. So that's 4 weapons. If you get Singletary back, that makes it even better. But I don't care if he's healthy. I want Tracy on that field. I know it's just one game. I want
him running back 1.
Yeah.
Tracy's done way more to impress me than anything Singletary's done all season.
Because he's look explosive. He looks young, explosive, fast, finds a hole, runs through it. He's a quick guy. He processes things quick. Not saying that Singletary doesn't, but in terms of speed and everything like that, Tracy is the guy, honestly. And for him to make 4 runs of 10+ yards this past Sunday against Seattle, that's enough for me to say that guy needs to be on the field because he can create big plays. And this offensive line, dude, I have the utmost confidence in the world that they're going to hold up against Cincinnati, because I know Trey Hendrickson is out there for the Bengals as a defensive end, but either AT or Illuminor will handle him easily. So other than that, I have no concerns.
No concerns. Yeah. Isn't it nice, not knowing Daniel Jones is going to get his head ripped off? Yeah. I was talking to my buddy who's a diehard Patriots fan, and he goes, I think Drake May might literally get his head ripped off on Sunday because the line is so bad. And I'm like, man, I remember having those thoughts. It's so nice not having that thought anymore.
Yeah, and that's the most underappreciated thing I feel like this year, because we talk about Malik Neighbors, we talk about Tracy and everything, but this offensive line has played really well. Even since even during that week 1 loss, this Giants team still, the offensive line was been really well. So shout out to Carmen Brasillo. Evan Neal's an afterthought now. We haven't talked about him since the preseason. I'm glad he's still here with us as a backup in case we need him.
I tweeted this out. Remember when the Giants played on Thursday Night Football and they had a shot? It was just Evan Neal. I'm like, wow. I forgot about you. Hey, how you doing, buddy?
You're still here. Hi. Good to see you.
He's getting all hyped up and stuff. I'm like, bro, you might play 3 snaps all game.
And that's probably in week 18, considering the fact that we make playoffs or we clinch the postseason spot. But yeah, dude, I'm really excited because to be in a national spotlight is always an honor. But the fact that we can turn our season around and really make a statement to the world that, hey, we're here. This is a chance to do it against a team led by Joe Burrow, who is known for being unhealthy, one of the best quarterbacks out there. If you can handle Burrow, you can handle Jamar Chase. So Deontay Banks, big assignment on Sunday, handling him. You handle him. You handle T. Higgins. We're gonna be just fine. So, injury wise though, Malik Neighbors is still concussion protocol. He did not practice on Wednesday. He still does have a chance to play on Sunday, but we need some great news coming out today that he at least practiced limitedly. If he is limited practicing today, not correctly grammarly said by me, but as long as he practiced in some sort of capacity today, definitely would be some good news in terms of his status for Sunday. So Kayvon likely going to be out. Greg Van Roten was rested on Wednesday. He'll be healthy, ready to go. John Runyon, not sure about him yet, but he had an illness. He should be okay if he's fully recovered. Brian Burns, Adoree Jackson, Drew Phillips, and Devin Singletary all were limited on Wednesday with their respective injuries. The most concerning one being Phillips, who has a calf and a shoulder injury, two very different injuries to two very different areas in the body. So we'll see what happens today, and we'll go from there. As for the Bengals, Joe Burrow fully practiced. Mike Hilton, DJ Ivy practiced fully as well. Mike Gesicki did not practice with a hamstring injury. He could be out for Sunday, it looks like. So expect Sample and Eric All Jr. to replace him at the tight end position. Chris Jenkins looks ready to go. Sheldon Rankins was limited. Amarius Mims had a calf injury but fully practiced. And then Zach Moss with a foot injury did not practice as well. So if he does not play, Chase Brown will likely take over as the RB1, followed by Trevion Williams, it looks like, for the Cincinnati Bengals. So we are 2-0 when we say the Giants are going to lose.
Yeah.
I do want to say they will, just for superstitions. But if we just continue, if we play the way we did against Seattle, be aggressive, play calling, no more of this conservative crap like we saw against Dallas, we will win this game. I don't have a score prediction, but I expect the Giants to put up at least 21 points.
I think 24-17 Giants.
Okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds good to me. We'll see. Sunday night, biggest stage. Metlife Stadium is going to be rocking, hopefully. We'll definitely try to build off the momentum the New York Mets, even though the Yankees are more like the Giants team than anything. It feels like Yankees and Mets.
Yeah, it's Yankees, Giants, Rangers, Knicks, Mets, Jets, Islanders, Nets. Well, really not Nets because there's no Net fans.
Yeah, they're moving on. I'm not gonna say anything about that because they're just they're terrible. All right, yeah. So Giants, make us proud, baby. We'll be back here Tuesday to discuss them. But on to the Irish. Welcome back. The Irish are back after a little bye week, some rest. I think you guys are ranked 14th now in the nation.
11.
11? Holy crap.
11 or 12 because we're tied with Iowa State for 11. So we're both 11 and 12. I don't get it.
What have the Cyclones done? Whatever. Anyways, you guys face off against the Stanford Cardinal this week. From the thumbnail, when you guys click this video, as you guys saw, Audric Estime, Brian's one of Brian's favorite running backs from Irish history, tearing up the Stanford defense last season. You guys are at home this year after beating them last year in California. What do you expect from the Irish this week? What are the keys to winning? Because this should be a win, I feel like. This should be,
because we've seen every single week, we're seeing Stanford get worse and worse on offense. So, they had two really good games to start the year, and then they've had two pretty poor performances to continue. So if that trend is to continue against a really good Notre Dame defense, there really shouldn't be much concern. What I want to see from the Irish this week is Riley Leonard passing the ball. That's what I want to see because we got a report this week at practice that Riley Leonard is about to break out. Like, he's looking the best he's looked. He's, making smarter reads. He's playing better. The breakout performance is about to happen. Well, it's week 6, right? Week 7, college football.
Yeah, 7. Yeah, you're right. 7.
We're halfway through the year, and we're still waiting for that breakout. So right now is the time to, put up or shut up, go or get off the pot. Like, it's that kind of thing right now for Riley Leonard. So if we can get a really big performance out of Leonard against a struggling Stanford team, it infuses a lot of confidence that they can go up against anybody and get a big win.
Yeah. You guys have been known for more of the rushing game. The passing wise, it's a bit of a concern for you, right?
Bit of concern, yeah.
But
Leonard's been getting better, but he's not at the point where we can feel confident about a passing game. Because if we're going to go up and play schools like Alabama and Georgia, like you saw it in that game, how quickly they can score. We can't have methodical runs because if we get down 14-0, we're going to make that up there pretty quickly. And that comes from a really good passing attack.
Mm-hmm. Score predictions?
I'm going to say 35-10 Irish. Domination.
Damn.
And South Bend.
No respect for Stanford.
No, they're our rivals. I can't respect them.
Oh, darn right. All righty. So we covered the Mets, we covered the Giants, we covered the Irish, we covered our bases. Tonight is Thursday Night Football between the Niners and the Seahawks. I don't know. I'm just gonna go with
It could either be a really good game or a game you turn off at halftime.
Yeah. And
I guess he's being a classic, or just like the Niners just blowing them out, and it's like 28-0 at half, and just like, all right, what else is on?
Or Gino just comes out of nowhere and shows why. Yeah, I don't. Who cares?
A beaten up Niners roster. It's just like what else is on right now? Like, I don't want to listen to Al Michaels like just cry throughout the rest of this game. I'll watch playoff baseball. I'll see what happens with the Yankees and Royals.
Yeah, Michaels is a legend, man, but it's just like
I love Al Michaels. Like, he has probably the most famous call in sports history with the "Do you believe in miracles" call from the 1980 Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I love listening to him, but like, it's just kind of sad. Like, you kind of tell, like, all right, he's getting, he's on the way out.
Yeah.
Same thing with Bob Costas. Bob Costas is atrocious.
Oh my God, he is bad.
It's so bad because Ron Darling is the guy with him, and Ron Darling is the play-by-play is the analyst for the Mets. So I watched a lot of Ron Darling, and he's such a good analyst, and you just know it's killing him to be like Bob Costas is talking about like something that doesn't even matter, and Ron Darling's just like, I just want to break down this pitcher's fastball. That's all I want to do right now.
And that's all you need is just
like Bob is talking about a game from 50 years ago right now. Just let me talk about his fastball.
Some people aren't, great to be commentators, and Costas, unfortunately, is one of those guys. He just can't cover baseball.
Great storyteller, and he's one of the guys where like I would love to sit him on a podcast and have him talk about his time in baseball, because it's probably insane, and his time in sports in general. And he was like a decent, like he was a sideline reporter for years. I think for the earthquake, and if you watch the ESPN 30 for 30, July 17th, 1994, he is actually the sideline reporter during the Knicks-Rockets game during the OJ chase. Like, he was the one providing updates about the OJ Simpson stuff. So he's done a lot of really cool stuff in his career. He's just like, he's at the end where it's like, all right, Bob, like, it's time to call it quits. Like, it's time to enjoy retirement. Like, I'm not saying you can't, go on shows and you talk about sports, but like your time in the booth in that aspect, let somebody else go.
Yeah. Hey. All right. So, as of right now, so far, as you guys know, only one series has wrapped up in Major League Baseball with the Phillies and the Mets. Mets moving on. Yankees and Royals still to be determined. Yankees lead the series 2-1. The Guardians and Tigers. The Tigers up 2-1 now on the Guardians. Not mistaken.
Yep, their game. Yankees they got Garrett Cole on the mound in a clincher with Micah Waka going for the Royals. Jesus.
Yeah, go Yankees. And then Dodgers and Padres set to kick off Friday to determine who will advance to the National League Championship Series. So, all right. Final segment. This one, the topic of the week that we usually do every week now, seems like, because we always come up with something random. It'll be more towards the current news situation, that is Robert Saleh, who, as you guys know, was fired 2 days ago. And also, according to reports, Nathaniel Hackett was demoted as the offensive
Yes.
coordinator. It's going to be
Downings.
yes, and Rodgers apparently approved the move. So, and it's a mess, by the way, over there.
It is.
It is.
It's a complete mess right now. Someone on Twitter said like the Jets died so the Mets can succeed. Just soul for a soul, perfectly balanced as all things should be.
I love Avengers. I love that.
No, it's just like, oh my god, I'm so in right now.
Balanced as all things should be. No, but I heard reports that Hackett was almost fired by Saleh before Saleh was fired himself. So that just shows how much dysfunction.
Did you see the report that Woody Johnson just came out of the decision? Like, didn't even consult his football guys if they should make that move or not. Just went in like, no, I'm firing Saleh.
Yeah, didn't talk to the GM or assistant GM or anything like that. He just went up and just fired him. And I think they're sick of it. That's an owner that cares. Like, he's sick of everything. Maybe the front office didn't want to fire Saleh, but Woody Johnson's like, nah, man, I can't do it. And that's how an owner should be.
I agree with you that he's probably sick of it, but at the same time, Woody Johnson is not a good owner. Like, he's very meddling. He's very incompetent. And like, if you're a Jets fan, just like, Woody, just listen to your guys for once. Listen to the football operations people. Like, they know more than you. Like, sure, Jet fans probably wanted Saleh fired anyway, but this could have been done in such a better way.
Yeah, and then I mean, look, it's the Jets. Matt is a
it's another like just story and joke headline. It's up there with the butt fumble. It's up there with Adam Gase's press conference and the eyeballs. Like, it's up there with all that.
Yeah. Matt Ardazzo, a good friend of ours from Belly Up and part of the Corner Booth podcast. He's a Jets fan, so thankfully the Yankees are keeping him sane right now, because the Jets news, just a lot of stuff with the Jets are a bit concerning, and we'll see what happens. But the reason why we brought up Robert Saleh is because we're going to talk about NFL head coach hot seats. And no, Brian Daboll is not in the hot seat, for those of you who say he is. I saw a post.
Small portion of the fan base that's just a moron. Like, no, he's not getting fired.
It's not even just the fan base, too. It's just like people in general, because I saw a post. I was like, oh, yeah, Brian Daboll's on the hot seat. It's like, we're 2-3. We beat Seattle last week. So it's like, okay, buddy, yeah, blame the head coach for us being 2-3. How about you blame? Well, he's played well, but there's the reason why we lost those games is because of Daniel Jones. So blame the quarterback first, then the coach. But anyways,
that's all I can do too, so it's fine.
Yeah. We're going to bring up a few head coaches to talk about if they are on the hot seat or not. We can also be extra and say how hot the seat is for said coach. But just a few names that we'll review, and we'll give our thoughts and see if they are on the hot seat. So, number uno, Antonio Pierce of the Raiders. Is he on the hot seat? And if he is, how hot is that seat? Brian, you can start.
I don't think he's in the hot seat because the Raiders played okay last year down the stretch. And like, this has always kind of been seen as a transition period. Like, they know, like, all right, they did some damage, but they brought in Josh McDaniels. Like, they're trying to transition from that. They see him as like a culture guy. I think they're gonna like let Pierce build the team and like give him a few more years, so he's officially on the hot seat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think for me, the reason why I think he sort of is, like, it's not crazy hot, but it's like getting there, is because they're 2-3 to start the year, which obviously is a small sample size considering it is his first full season as the head coach, right? And the quarterback situation is a bit of a mess, but and I understand, like, as a player, as coach, as like having that player background per se helps, but like, whether it's pointing the finger at his own guys, the whole business decision thing that he said the other day about players making business decisions, so we'll make business decisions of our own. The whole Devontae Adams situation, it's a bit of a mess. So I'm not saying like he's gonna be fired, because he did help the team kind of finish off on a high note last year, but the seat is sort of hot, and that's what I'm like. I'll just say it's getting hot. It's not crazy
Yeah.
hot, but it's getting there. Here's an obvious one. Doug Peterson, is he on the hot seat?
Oh, that seat is red hot right now. That seat's on fire.
Steaming hot. Yeah, I mean the Jaguars 0-4. He's defended the play calling of the offense, which has looked mediocre, to be honest. I mean, Brian Thomas is literally the only good part of the offense. Other than that, there's really not much at all. Peterson has won twice in Jacksonville's last 11 games. As they had a hot start to start their year last year, kind of fell off the rest of the season. Yeah. So they lost 11 games.
And Trevor Lawrence. They brought in Doug Peterson to figure out Trevor Lawrence, and it's just been regression.
Yeah, and Peterson hasn't been that great of a coach. He's only won at least 10 regular season games once, and that was with the Eagles in 2017. Last year's meltdown, when they had a chance to win the title, they just blew it down the stretch. So, Duval is not looking so good, but Peterson definitely on the hot seat. All right. Mm-hmm. You will like this one because I know how much you like to trash this.
I've already seen a name, and I know what I'm going to do.
Nick Sirianni, good sir. Is he on the hot seat?
Hot seat. He really is on the hot seat because I think we're finally starting to see the fall of Sirianni. He had a really good rookie season, but he had two great coordinators with him, which I think propped him up a lot. Then you saw the coordinators leave, and then the problems kind of started to emerge. You saw them. But I think the Eagles had such great leadership from guys like Jason Kelce and Hassan Reddick, and it just kind of saved them. It kind of kept everything, under wraps because, all right, we're playing for these guys. We're playing for each other. We don't like Sirianni, but hey, Kelce's our guy. We're listening to Kelce. We're playing for him. Now you take a big voice like Kelce, a big leadership guy, out of that locker room, and Sirianni has to kind of pick up. He's not able to. The team is already kind of going against him. I can see very quickly if he loses another game or it's another tight loss, he can lose that locker room really fast. And I just don't think there's leadership in that locker room to help him save it. So I think things get really bad for the Eagles, and I think they completely collapse and the locker room's gone. You have to fire Sirianni because he's really not that great of a coach. His one big accomplishment is to tush push, but if anyone's been playing Madden, you've been doing the tush push for years. He just made it a way that he can just get it every single time. So definitely think he's on the hot seat here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you have to consider the fact that he is 30-22 and 3+ seasons as the head coach. He's never missed the playoffs, and the Eagles were so close to the Super Bowl, winning Super Bowl at Super Bowl 57. But you go from 10-1 in 2023 to start the year to a 1-6 finish last year. You lost the Bucs in the wild card round. You had that issue with Jalen Hurts and that story, having that straight.
And Hurts has regressed a lot this year. I've saw videos what's going on with Jalen Hurts.
And let's be honest, that relationship is still strained. They just had to they had to hide from the media. Mm-hmm. So definitely issues in that relationship. And
yeah,
what are you gonna do? You're gonna fire the coach, or you're gonna let go of your $50 million a year quarterback? Probably the coach. So he's and then Eagles are 2-2 to start the year. And that's the thing is the biggest thing about this team is that they are 2-2. Their next 4 opponents have a record of 5-15. So if the Eagles kind of struggle against those teams, possibly go 2-6.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
I'll make a great comparison. Nick Sirianni is just the Eagles version of Ben McAdoo. Look, McAdoo's first year had a great first season, led the Giants to the playoff, seemed like the head coach of the future, then completely fell apart, got really arrogant his second year, lost that locker room, and was fired. Sirianni is trending down a very similar path of that.
Yeah. All right. Next coach on the list, Dennis Allen of the New Orleans Saints. Is he on the hot seat, Brian?
I think he is because I just think the Saints in general just need a complete overhaul of everybody. I think everyone needs to get fired and just start fresh because things are just there's no direction there. It just kind of feels like a directionless ship just floating on the water. They just need someone to come in there with chainsaw and just gut everything and just start over. New coach, new GM, new quarterback.
Oh, for some reason you cut off. What the heck? Yeah, I don't know. Hello? Oh, you're good. Yeah, you cut off for a little bit. I don't know why. Yeah. So for Dennis Allen, yeah, I mean the Saints start off 2-0, right? They had 91 points in their first 2 games. So everyone was like, okay, Clint Kubiak, blah blah blah. Like, oh, we might have something here. And then you came back to earth. Derek Carr had that oblique injury this past week. Now you're going to be trusting Spencer Rattler. Whoopee. Which is not bad. Like, I'm not upset about that.
Spencer Rattler was a fine quarterback. Like, all his problems come from stuff he did in high school and, like, all the Oklahoma situation, getting benched for Caleb Williams. Like, that's where all this. But, like, if you look at his college career since Oklahoma, like, his 2 years at South Carolina, it was great.
Yeah, like he's not a bad quarterback. It's just that he's young and he's
a good situation to be going in. A young quarterback that's so raw and needs development time.
And
I don't know if this is the right spot.
And he is playing for a coach, Rattler that is playing for a coach that his 26-49 as a head coach. So don't know why he still has a head coaching position. Literally, if this was Brian Daboll, people would be calling for his head. But, Dennis Allen is still there. So, definitely, I feel like the seat is hot there. Even though Rattler is young, if they still struggle, the Saints do, I think he's definitely on the hot seat. Couple more names. Kevin Stefanski of the Cleveland Browns. I think this isn't much of a hot seat because I'm not blaming him whatsoever for the Browns struggles this year.
He made the playoffs with Joe Flacco last year.
Yeah.
He's a 2-time coach of the year. He's done a lot of good. The Browns' problems are all on one man, and it's a man that robbing them blind right now in Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, who dude, he looks like a.
Could you imagine? Like, let's go back to the 2021 season. Like, they're just coming off that trip to. To the division, that game against Kansas City where they were up 13-0 and they blew it late. Imagine telling us back then what was about to happen to Deshaun Watson. Because at that point, Deshaun Watson was the future of the Texans. He was the future star in the league. And then, like, I think it was either that offseason or the next one. It was trade the man, and then the sexual assault allegations. He just needs a rub down.
Steven.
Shout out Steven. That's great. Maybe, he looks a little tense out there. He can't get the rubdowns anymore.
No. No.
Massage.
No. Shit. Yeah, gosh damn it, Brian. You and Steven, man, you guys back to back, good, excellent comments. So Stefanski, a guy that's won Coach of the Year twice in the past 4 years, 2020 and 2023 to be exact. This is not his fault whatsoever.
It's Deshaun Watson. I guarantee you, they start Jameis Winston, they're probably in a playoff spot right now.
Hey. Yeah, they're 1-4, definitely not because of him. But here's the thing: the reason why I put him on this list is because when your team is 1-4, right, and Watson, it was an expensive investment. Plus the whole salad situation, it's a reminder that it is easier to fire the head coach than your quarterback that's struggling.
Yeah,
because Rodgers, as believe it or not, is struggling. So we'll see what happens. Plus, you have to wonder low key, like, what if Stefanski just doesn't want to be here? Like, think about that.
Yeah.
Like he's basically stuck with Watson for the next 3 years because Watson's there till like 2027, and
I'm pretty sure like his dead cap is probably insane. So like you can't even move him.
100%.
Because That's the only thing saying about Daniel. That was the only thing that, like, when Daniel Jones was struggling, that we were like, all right, like, just get through this year. Oh my God.
Yeah, I know it's high, isn't it, the number?
If they cut him this year, it's $200 million in dead cap. If they cut him next year, it's $172 million in dead cap.
Not
If they
bad.
cut him in 2026, it's $99 million in dead cap.
Okay, so just
bad. You're stuck with him.
Honestly, I would just eat it. I would eat the dead cap.
$200 million in dead cap? That's like your entire salary cap.
This
They are stuck, and I
they're
mean,
screwed. They're worse than us. Because at least we
get out of the contract. We can get out of the contract, and Joe Shane built it in a way that if Daniel Jones was a struggle, there was that opt out. Deshaun Watson doesn't have that.
Plus, we didn't trade a whole farm for him, so
Yeah, that too.
that's it.
That too, man. Deshaun Watson. Which is worse, the Bryce Young or the Deshaun Watson trade? Because I wrote about the Bryce Young trade yesterday. That might be an article topic coming up. You have to go to Deshaun, right?
Yeah, because the Texans, they got a haul back in the draft picks they used to get the players that they did. I don't know.
Stroud with those picks.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Stroud.
You found your new franchise guy.
Will Anderson. That's what we got him. Got him, Will Anderson.
There you go. Your franchise defensive player. Like, it's a win-win. Oh, it's a win for the Texans, not a win for the Browns, obviously. But anyways, yeah. Last coach on the list.
Before we move on to this guy, which do you think Browns are more miserable now or when they were 0-17?
It has to be now, because at least there was some hope. There was some hope, at least.
17, you're like, all right, we have three first round picks. We're going to have number one again. Like, we can really turn this around.
Yeah. Now it's like you're stuck with a quarterback.
Yeah. There's no future because, like, at least, like, okay, when the 0-16 season ends, the season's over, and we go to the offseason and, like, fix everything. Now it's like, how are we going to fix things with the $200 million man?
Yeah, like back in 0-17, like we had the draft picks. We had the number 1 overall draft pick. We didn't have a quarterback. We could easily replace him with the next guy that we draft.
Quarterback was Deshaun Kaiser. Like, I love Deshaun Kaiser, Notre Dame boy, but he was put in a horrific situation. Even I disagree with Brian Kelly on so much, but he was so right when he said, I don't know why Kaiser is leaving the draft right now. He needs to be here for like 2 more years. Completely agree with him.
Oh, man. But yeah, no matter what the Browns do, they're screwed until they get out of that Watson. I don't know how they're going to do it, but if they get out of it, props to them. If they don't, well, crap. They're stuck with him for quite a while, and that just set back the Browns franchise.
At least 2027.
They deserve this. This is what happens when I will say I was a hater of him because I didn't believe in him until he went to Tampa and showed me that I was wrong. But this is what happens when you let go of a quarterback who led you to your only playoff appearance in Baker Mayfield. You let him go because you want a big name in Deshaun Watson. And look what happened.
And not only that, replace him with someone that was currently standing trial for 23 allegations of sexual assault.
Yeah. Way to go, Cleveland. Nice job, guys.
Like, hey, you know that really fun story of Baker Mayfield being like, you know, the guy that like rebuilt the Browns and stuff? What if we just kicked him to the curb and brought in the guy that's got all the baggage?
It's like, hear me out. What if we get more attention on us and bring in a guy who is sexually assaulting women?
Negative.
Yes, negative. That will keep us in
Somebody get this man a raise.
It's like NBA 2K is like, oh, we're struggling. All right, let's make people pay for more VC, virtual currency, or Madden. Ooh, what if?
What's gonna save this game? More in-game micro purchases. No.
Madden, what's the one thing
other way?
For Madden, what's one thing this game needs? More commentator teams. No, bro. Fix everything. Don't bring me Cape.
It's franchise mode.
Please, it's the same crap for years now. I heard that game was 50% off now, and they barely came out like
Really?
less than 2 months ago.
That game keeps falling. I might have to buy it just because it's cheap.
It's 50% now.
That's gonna be what, $30?
Yes. Still not enough? Nah. A little bit more of a discount than I feel like.
Like 20.
Yeah, that's more like it. There we go. Even though they probably won't do that, but probably not until
They
like.
will, and like around, if it's already 50% off, Christmas is gonna be like you want to tell someone. It's like the Family Guy gag with the edible arrangements. You want to give somebody a gift, but you don't really like them. Give them an edible arrangement. You got someone in your life who like you don't hate, but like you also like at the same time. Get them a Madden video game.
That's the present for you. All right, and then the final coach on the hot seat list that we have is Mike McCarthy, and this is America's team. They are 3-2, but it's just this season has been a bit of a struggle with the Micah Parsons, DeMarcus Lawrence, Ron Blanner are injured. A schedule that's coming up with the Lions, Niners, Falcons, Eagles, and Texans, and Commanders in that order, by the way. But the fact that he's on an expiring contract and that the Cowboys can just easily shift from him to like a Mike Vrabel or a Bill Belichick, it's not. I feel like it's not him specifically for the reason why Dallas is struggling.
No, that's in the owner's box.
Yeah, it's just they're the Cowboys. Like they just always get in their own way, and it may not be in the regular season, but once the postseason comes around, Phillies, they just choke. So how hot is Mike McCarthy's seat?
See, the problem with that is you never know because we don't know what Jerry Jones is thinking. Like, Jason Garrett was on the hot seat for 10 years. Like, every year is like, this is the year they're going to fire Jason Garrett. And they just brought him back. And it's the same thing going on right now with Mike McCarthy. It's like the team is good, but they're not great. He could get fired, but, like, is Jerry Jones, like, Jerry Jones is a very big ego guy. Like, as much as he wants Cowboys to win, he wants people to think that he's the reason for the Cowboys winning. So you mentioned guys like Belichick and Vrabel. I don't think Jones is going to go after those guys because you bring in one of those guys, it overshadows Jerry. Like, you bring in Belichick and they start winning, it's because of Belichick, not because of Jerry Jones. You bring in Vrabel's going to get all the heat, not Jerry Jones. So I think it's 50-50 because you just don't know what Jones is thinking.
Do you ever think Jones is just going to, like, sell the team?
No. The only way that Jerry Jones will not be owner of Dallas Cowboys is when he's 6 feet underground.
How old is he?
And 80s at least. He's old.
81. Yeah, that's screwed. Yeah, they got like good like
at least 15 more years with him. There's no way that man is. Yeah, he's rich as hell. He's living until his mid-90s.
He's rich, healthy. Doesn't look like he's. Yeah. He came from a freaking helicopter a few days ago.
Yeah, the only like signs of aging is that he just can't manage a football team anymore. That's the only signs of aging we have for him.
Basically, his brain deteriorating when it comes to football decisions. At least he paid Dak Prescott.
Yeah, but that wasn't without drama because that's Jerry. Jerry needs the drama, the headlines, and stuff like that. He needs to like not lose. Like I know any quarterback conversation is going to have drama, but there was just so much more unnecessary drama with that one than like the Joe Burrow contract or Justin Herbert's contract or the Hurts contract.
He literally waited 2 hours before game time to say, "You want to resign, Dak? Got a contract."
Giant Stadium parking lot when he signed. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, that's the most Jerry Jones move ever.
But yeah, I just think for McCarthy, yeah. I mean, if Dallas definitely struggles this year again, they don't make the postseason, yeah, he's definitely gone. But I will say, the blame should not be 100% on him if he is set fired. Blame should be directed towards him regardless, but not.
Yeah, like he's not a good coach by any stretch of the imagination. He is a reason that Dallas is struggling.
Mm-hmm.
has so many other problems that McCarthy is just kind of like a microcosm of it all.
Yeah. So, yeah, we shall see. But those are a few coaches on our hot seat. Maybe there's other coaches we haven't mentioned that will be fired this offseason or whenever. But Robert Saleh, the first coach this year to be fired, and we'll see who's next. Whether it's this in the regular season or after the season, we shall see. And that'll do it for episode 31 of the Thunder Tip Podcast. A fun one per se. Well, for one person, it was.
It was awesome.
I know. I do wonder if you guys make the World Series, how your reaction will be. I'm very excited to see.
It's on steroids.
But until that happens, I think stress mode's going to be like at a 10 for you.
It's already up here. Like I'm just like not trying to think about it right now. But somebody's gonna roll around and I'm gonna wake up like, oh my god, we are. Oh god, let's go. Yeah, what's up, buddy?
What's up? Quick question from Mr. Bubba's. All right, let us know, man, whenever you have that question ready. But yeah, so next week, so next episode will be Tuesday, so we'll break down Giants and Bengals. Definitely we'll cover game 1, which is Sunday, right? Yeah, Sunday between the Mets and the Dodgers, or Mets, Dodgers, or Padres. So I can call the future or anything, but I feel like it's going to be the Dodgers.
Yeah. So what? Game 5 is tomorrow.
Yeah. Oh, great.
Segue. Look at that. I'm going with Dodgers. I think they dominated the Padres last night. I think the momentum going back to Dodger Stadium, that crowd's going to be wild and, ruckus. I got Dodgers.
And the fact that they won last night on a bullpen game, out of all things, that's pretty impressive, I will say. So tomorrow it's undecided, but the Padres will go with Yu Darvish. It's just the Dodgers don't know who they will be rolling with. We'll see. Maybe Ohtani. I'm just kidding. Obviously, Ohtani with the whole, Tommy John. He can't pitch, obviously.
Oh, I got excited for a second. I saw 5:08. I'm like, oh my god, 5:08. That's awesome. Then I saw Pacific time. Like, oh, that's not as awesome.
Oh, come on. It's
8. I mean, it's 8. But winner take all at 5. That's amazing.
True. Yeah, it is. That means
have that lead up to your Friday night, like your pregame with Dodgers Padres. Oof. That'd be great.
Yeah, true. But we'll see what happens. Again, congrats to Bryant's Mets, I guess. Whatever.
I'm so excited. Come on.
No, man, but you guys definitely deserve it. You guys played extremely well, and we'll see how far you guys make it. And hopefully, you guys do make it to the World Series. Maybe Yankees and Mets wouldn't be too bad of a World Series after all.
No, it would be. It'd be terrible. Yeah. It'd be so awful.
Hey, the travel wouldn't be too much. It's literally right there.
Yeah, the travel wouldn't be too much. I would legit think I'd be in a hospital.
They should maybe do another bullpen game because the Dodgers starters are like a 10-something ERA and the bullpen is like 2-something. What do you guys think the Dodgers should do?
Yeah, you have in a winner-take-all game. You have to ride with what's working for you. Like the season's on the line, so you have to put your best guys out there. And if the bullpen is what got you to this point, you have to roll with them.
Mm-hmm. I think more than I think not that I know the future or anything, but I think it's kind of simple to say or kind of easy to say it's going to be Yamamoto game 5 because he did start game 1. But Yamamoto, they kind of struggle.
Yamamoto getting the start, but it's a quick leash. We're just you might just go 2 innings, and if we don't like what we're seeing, we're going to the pen. The Dodgers might be just trying to get to that pen as quickly as possible, just using Yamamoto as a bulk guy, just trying to eat up innings.
Best case, Yama gives them 5.
Even.
5,
4
6.
even.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't blame you, Mr. Bubba. Seriously. Man. I think that's the one thing about the Dodgers is that they can hit, but they don't got pitching. Because everyone else everyone's injured. Literally. Glasnow, Kershaw, Stone. No, Flaherty's back, but he barely came back.
He had injuries. Buehler was hurt, but I think he's back.
Yeah. Well, we shall see. Padres, they got pitching though. Darvish obviously is solid, and Musgrove. Well, no, Musgrove is out. The rest of is he out? One Padres pitcher is out for the rest of the postseason. Is it Joe Musgrove? I don't know. I don't know. Who cares? The point is, we'll see what happens in game 5. We'll see who escapes out of it, and we'll go from there. Okay, good. Yes, I know my baseball, bro. Gosh, dang it. From the Oh, well,
Football injury.
nice. Not nice, but it's like Brian just said, it's usually a football injury. But anyways, thank you guys as always for your support and for listening and watching. If you made it this far, we appreciate you. You can follow Brian on Twitter at BrianPG1016 for more Mets tweets. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram as well at Nathan_New124. And then you can follow us on our main podcast page, the Third and 10 Pod, or at Third and 10 Pod, I should say, on YouTube and on Twitter as well, and Instagram too, by the way. But yeah, congrats again to Brian. Enjoy yourself, bro. And then we'll see
I will.
Yeah. Well, good luck to you, and we'll see you on Tuesday. And with that being said, thank you guys so much. See you guys for episode 32, season 2.